Hello, welcome again to FAIRtax Power Radio. I'm Bob Paxton.
And I'm Ron Malero.
And we are the FAIRtax Guys. Still kind of bending the social distancing rules, but we're going to get away with it because we can.
Yeah. And plus, we're pretty confident that there's no problem here. All right.
Absolutely.
So, anyways, yep, I've been watching the site for Florida, and our county has very limited exposure to this thing, and we're very thankful for that.
But we are... hearts go out to those places in the country who have got a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Your major cities, in New York City, I think they got a bunch in Chicago. They're saying New Orleans may be a big hot spot now. So, I originally was thinking, what's all the big deal here? I mean, this is just the flu, and I found out that really wasn't entirely accurate. This is a really nasty thing if you get it, so you don't want to...
and especially for people our age.
Indeed. Okay.
Yeah, so.
Well, I'll tell you what, we need to get on in here with our FAIRtax Power Radio episode, and every now and then we do an episode where we just I call it a hodgepodge. We've got lots of stuff. Most of the time we try to have a theme that we can carry through the entire episode, but sometimes we just get stuff that it's not enough to fill up the whole episode, so we just kind of put these little pieces together, and this is going to be one of those such episodes. But as always, we will start with the Grassroots Corner, which was something about happened right here in Ocala. And one of our own volunteers is featured therein. Way to go, Donna.
The Grassroots Corner comes every Friday in the email called FAIRtax Friday, which includes the Chairman's Report by Steve Hayes, which, by the way, Bob makes into a YouTube video and a podcast. But included with the Chairman's Report is the Grassroots Report by Jim Bennett, who's a AFFT Grassroots Director. Jim.Bennett at fairtax.org. Bennett has 2 N's and 2 T's, okay? Strawberry Festival. Oh, we know about this.
Yeah, you were off playing golf and everybody else.
We were off watching golf.
Oh, okay.
For the past, I think, 5 years, we have been involved, we being the Florida FAIRtax Educational Association, has set up an informational booth at the Strawberry Festival, which is right here in Ocala. Hugely attended. It's a one-day event, and up to 30,000 people attend, and I swear, I think all 30,000 of them come by our booth. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, this year we could not attend because we had another commitment, and we are retired, and there are certain things we insist on doing to maintain our marriage. But anyway, so we talked Randy into heading up the whole thing. All right, Strawberry Festival, promoting the FAIRtax at festivals and fairs by Randy Fisher. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because you can get FAIRtax Friday by going to fairtax.org and signing up for mailings. You'll never get spam by signing up with fairtax.org. But it's really important to get these periodic updates, and they're very informative. Okay, so the Strawberry Festival is put on by the Habitat for Humanity. What they make on this festival goes towards building a house for a needy family. It's a great cause. And Randy talks about setting up the booth, the information booth. Says the goal is to have a booth that clearly identifies the organization's policy of preference. Typically, we try for something that makes it clear we want no IRS, and that the FAIRtax is simple, visible, and efficient, and ends the income tax. Because when you say no IRS and ends the income tax, that gets people's attention. All right, with fewer and fewer taxpayers using itemized deductions and more taking advantage of the electronic filing, we've seen a decreased level of interest in replacing the IRS. Yeah, because out of sight, out of mind. But it's still there, and they're keenly reminded of it when they have a problem. All right. Establishing eye contact is critical. Once that is accomplished, smile. Invite the attendee to take a piece of literature like a palm card or a prebate card. All right. Prebate card. Okay. Or any other handout while doing the engaging problem solution discussion. All right. You can say things like, do you think everyone is paying their fair share? Or how about, wouldn't it be nice if foreign visitors contributed to our Social Security and Medicare? And it goes on to talk about what they did. They had a very successful day. They got close to 100 people signing the FAIRtax petition, and those people will be included in the national database. So it's a great event. Not that expensive for us, and we meet a lot of people. Again, if you have an event or you have a question or whatever for Jim about the grassroots nature, jim.bennett@fairtax.org, and Bennett has 2 N's and 2 T's. So, and that's our grassroots report.
Yeah, so Randy Fisher wrote that, and that leads you right into something. We talked about this briefly last week on FAIRtax Power Radio, talking about things you can do. We're going to kind of focus a lot of things on what you can do if you're kind of stuck here in home isolation. What can you do to help get the FAIRtax going? Randy got through to the Rush Limbaugh show. Now, they had a guest host. Todd Herman was guest hosting the show.
And even with a guest host, that's no simple project.
Yeah, it isn't. So you've got a little something going on here that call that Randy made into Todd Herman on the Rush Limbaugh show about a week and a half or so ago now by the time this airs. You've got that up on YouTube now.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be able to cue it up because I'm not sure exactly. I don't think we can play it, but we're working on, they got the MP3 from the show. It's about a 3-minute segment, all right? And right now, as we speak, they're working on making a very short video, which they'll put on YouTube, where Todd Herman says, let's talk to Randy and so forth. And Randy said his piece, and then come to find out, Todd Herman is a FAIRtax fan.
He did.
He went on to talk about the FAIRtax to the largest radio audience in the country.
Yeah. So we're going to try to cut just that little segment out of it. Right now, they've got the whole hour there up, or more than that you got to go dig it into. But
and sometimes it's hard to get just to the right point. I tried to share it on. You might try it by going to the FAIRtax Guys Facebook page, and I've got a link there. You see the Rush Limbaugh. You see the link, and it's supposed to go to just before they start. He starts talking to Randy. I hope it does. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's about an hour and 24 minutes into that clip.
But we're going to get the video of just Randy's call, and when we do, we'll make sure everybody knows about it. But that's a big deal. That's one thing you can do. Yeah, he was on hold for an hour, and that takes some perseverance. But he managed to talk to a national show and talk about the FAIRtax. That's a big deal. That's great. So hats off to Randy.
Well, again, Tucker Carlson doesn't do a call-in show, but he's one of the ones, we talked about this last week, that is heavy on this. We need to bring manufacturing back to the United States. He's right on that. Let's educate him on the best solution. The best way to do that is the FAIRtax, and there are ways on the Fox News website that you can direct email to the various personalities that work there. So let's kind of let Tucker Carlson know that he's on the right track, but he needs to take it to the next step and actually push for the FAIRtax as the solution for what he definitely wants to see happen.
Yeah. Yep. So that's good. That's okay. And we talked, like I said, we talked about that. Always go to sign up. Make sure you're signed up for the FAIRtax Friday, because a lot of this good stuff is in that email that you'll get every Friday. Okay.
We want to acknowledge some of the feedback that we get from people who listen to FAIRtax Power Radio. They talk to us on our Facebook page. They send us email at the FAIRtaxGuys@gmail.com. And you've got something that's from a fellow that's got a really good question.
Yeah, we'll get, people will. We always tell people, if you need to contact us, the FAIRtaxGuys@gmail.com. I don't think we even gave that out in last week's episode.
I don't think we did either, but that's...
The FAIRtaxGuys@gmail.com. So Lance Sanders sends, can you please speak to how the FAIRtax would benefit people in these times? This was like 10 days ago as we're recording this, okay? It seems to me that panic buying and hoarding would increase revenue to address the crisis at hand. What a brilliant point.
Bingo.
Yes. Under the FAIRtax. He's saying if the FAIRtax were in place, that panic buying and hoarding would add to the government coffers.
It would.
And then a second brilliant point, also, people would greatly benefit from having access to savings and investments without tax penalty. Very important. Savings and investment is a sign of a healthy economy.
It is.
But right now, the income tax penalizes savings and investment. You have to pay taxes on those interests and dividends, okay? That discourages people. If you're able to save and invest with no tax component at all, you'll see if savings investment really boost up in here. And like I said, that's really good for an economy.
Yeah, Lance really nailed it there. With all this panic buying and hoarding would be a boon to the U.S. Treasury if we had the FAIRtax. And again, talking about how the FAIRtax is the best way to respond, not only to the situation that we're in now, but to any preview, any one that might come down the pike a little bit later. And we mentioned this a bit on last year's show. If you'd had the FAIRtax, and Steve Hayes put this in one of his chairman's reports as well, the best way, if you need to get a stimulus package, you really only need to do two things.
Yep.
Increase the prebate and or cut the FAIRtax rate.
Very simple.
That touches everyone, not just the ones that have a job and are going to be getting unemployment insurance, or cutting the payroll tax back doesn't help somebody who doesn't have a job at all. So if you want to be able to stimulate the economy, you want to get a lot of help to a lot of people. If we had the FAIRtax, again, increase the prebate, decrease the rate. When the crisis is over, you put it back where it was, case closed, and you don't have to have all this garbage going on now. So that's really how the FAIRtax could address what's going on now with this coronavirus thing, and the next crisis down the road, and the next crisis down the road. There'll always be another one.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Hopefully not as serious as this one, but this one is a good one. He wrote to you. So
I want to jump on this one. This was from Carrie Henderson, who I mistakenly thought was a girl to start with, but I found out that was not true. So sorry. I guess it's Carrie if it's Carrie. This is Cary. But he said, "Hi Bob, I was watching the show when you announced that the station in North Carolina, WTOB in Winston-Salem, has picked up FAIRtax Power Radio. That's great. Carrie took it upon himself to say our local station here in Santa Clarita, I think Clarita, California, KHTS is the name of the station, seemed it might be a good fit for us. So Carrie, on his own, called this radio station and asked him, would you like to carry FAIRtax Power Radio? And he got the answer that you're going to get at a lot of places. Sure, if they want to pay for it, we'll be happy to put them on, which is something we can't do because we don't have a budget for that.
But it's not impossible.
He did say that the lady he talked to at the station says, after this COVID-19 thing dies down, we might take a look at it. So, Carrie, thank you so much for taking the initiative to contact your radio station, and may we suggest that wherever you are, you call your local radio station and say, hey, there's this really good public affairs program that you can have for free. But then, because a lot of stations, they have time. We're on at 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning on WTOB, at least for now. They said that might change, but that's where we are for now. But a lot of radio stations will use that early morning weekend time to put these kind of programs on. And, the worst they can do is tell you, nah, not interested. Yeah. But if you would be so kind, since we can't sit here and call them all, if you've got a favorite radio station, just call them. Ask them if they would be interested in carrying a public affairs program on how to fix all the tax code. And that works. So.
If you're not familiar with what we're talking about, being on a radio station in Winston-Salem, while it was back in February, we got an email, would you like to have your show on our station here in Winston-Salem? And long story short, FAIRtax Power Radio is on WTOB Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. Of course, you can get on there. You can tune in. Obviously, if you're in another part of the country, you're not going to pick up that station, but you can get it online through various sources. So Bob and I are pleased as punch that somebody has picked up our show and put it on broadcast. And this fella, his name is Bob Scarborough, is serious about helping us get it on other independent stations. So this is what we need. because I really believe 2021 is going to be a critical year
It is.
for getting the fair tax, especially after the current crisis here. I think it's pointing out to people that we need something better than what we have now.
Indeed.
Yep.
And again, we don't want to get too political here on the show, but we have heard from a lot of different people that if President Trump gets reelected, that he would, in that case, be a lot more open to a big solution like the fair tax than he would be right now. So,
yep. And
we'll
keep
see
in
if that
mind,
happens.
Vice President Pence was a FAIRtax co-sponsor the 12 years that he was in Congress. So we know the president is aware of the fair tax.
So again, thank you, Carrie, and appreciate your efforts on behalf of FAIRtax Power Radio. And again, if anybody else would like to try that, let us know what you get, and we'll be happy. I'll be happy to follow up with any particular radio station that wants more information about it. So the FAIRtaxGuys@gmail.com is how to get a hold of us for stuff like that. And you got another really good one here. Who? I don't see who we're talking about here. Do you?
Yeah, sometimes we get
That's
just
your cue.
short words of encouragement. This one is from. This is a comment to our YouTube. Remember, FAIRtax Power Radio. Yes, it's posted to Facebook Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, but it also goes to YouTube, and it's a podcast, and we have our own website, FAIRtaxGuys.com.
Yes.
So on YouTube, you can leave comments. So this comment is from Mr. Invisible. That's his name. Mr. Invisible.
That's what it says.
Mr. Invisible says, the best plan ever for getting rid of our tax problems. Don't be lazy. Check it out. You'll agree. Short, encouraging comment from Mr. Invisible. Thank you. And sometime, if we could possibly meet for coffee, we could try that. We might be drinking coffee between ourselves.
No, you can do coffee. I do cheer wine.
Okay, all right. So anyways, there's our note from Mr. Invisible. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Now, this was another suggestion we got. Hey, why don't you guys put the FAIRtax book up in PDF form?
Yeah.
The quick answer is we don't own the book. We don't have the rights to do
That's right.
that.
Yeah, it is a copyrighted piece of work, all right? Both the first one and the second one and so forth.
Where did this come from?
This came from John Dickey back in February, early February. So it was about a month and a half ago. However, I think it's got to be still available on Amazon. So sure enough, I looked at Amazon, and yeah, it's still there. Okay,
With a twist.
yeah. Like I put in FAIRtax book, and it came up with the audio version of it, but then it says paperback. Okay, so you can get there's the first book with the white cover. That's this one over here, all right? And then the second book, FAIRtax the Truth, Answering the Critics. That's the second one. So it's got it in audio book form. There is paperback, it says hardcover for the first one, $6.89 plus $3.99 shipping. Then it has a couple of Neil Bort's book because Neil Bort's was one of the authors, all right? And then you scroll down to the red book, hardcover. I don't know who's trying to do this or if there's a mistake. He wants $989.90 for the hardcover red book. I wish you very good luck with that. If you do get it, let me know, because we have several copies here in our library. It could supplement our retirement. But then, on the same post, where it's got a $1,000 red book, paperback, $5.50 plus shipping.
It costs you more to ship it than to buy it.
Yeah, so anyways.
But the answer is no, we cannot put the PDF out there. Facebook, for one thing, won't put PDFs up.
Yeah, that's right. And plus it would be illegal anyways. But they are available. And if they're on Amazon, you probably should be able to find them on Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, whatever. So you should be able to find them. So if you take a look, I think you'll be able to find them. But thanks for that reminder.
So if you're stuck at home, self-quarantining or mandatory quarantining from whatever, get a hold of those things and read them. I mean, you've got lots of time now, and people say, "How do you teach people about the fair tax?" Well, we can give them the 30-second elevator speech and explain it to them in a nutshell. But if you really want the details of it, and it's not a boring read, it really isn't.
No, it's a quick read. Yeah.
If you ever listen to Neil Bortz on the radio, you know he's got a rather unique sense of humor, which comes through the book as well.
Yep.
So if especially the white one there when they were talking about that.
And you can get it in digital form too.
Yeah,
download it on your computer or your tablet.
A Kindle, but we can't put a PDF up because we don't own it. That would be a massive copyright infringement. But there are ways that you can get it hold of it, and just read the book. Read the white one first, and then read the red one, because the red one follows up on some of the objections that people have raised to it.
Oh yeah, our producer just reminded us, for a very simple introduction for somebody who has no idea what the fair tax is, that you could start with this one, America's Big Solution by Terry Tibbetts. That's also on Amazon and Apple Books and I forgot the third one. Anyways, it's available in digital form. I'd recommend in digital form because it's only like $3. If you get a hard copy of it, it's close to $10 because apparently paper and ink is more expensive than electrons. But anyways, that's a very simple introduction, very good one. So there's ways. This is a good time, like Bob says, when you're stuck at home and you can't go to work and you're encouraged to stay home. Catch up on your reading, your fair tax reading.
Or binge watch the FAIRtax Guys. FAIRtaxGuys.com. I guarantee you there is enough stuff on FAIRtaxGuys.com to keep you amused for hours and hours and hours.
And we have attracted some good people.
Yeah, we've got, over 200 episodes now at a half hour each. That's 100 hours worth.
So, here's another comment. This one's very short but encouraging. This is a response to episode 201. It's from Keith Lean here. All right, nice one, guys. You hit a lot of different parts of the fair tax plan. So we thank you, all right? It's nice to get those words of encouragement. We know that people are listening. We know that people are watching when we have a live stream to Facebook. We get lots of comments and so forth. But it's also nice to get these comments, so we truly appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Now, we talked about our radio broadcast up in North Carolina, okay? I was curious after, everything that went back and forth between Bob Scarborough of WTOB and Bob Paxton of the FAIRtax Guys, and I asked Bob Scarborough, how did you find out about us? He said from Facebook. Mm-hmm. Yep, he learned about us from Facebook. So that's good. Okay, Facebook. We have our own website, FAIRtaxGuys.com. We're on YouTube. We got podcasts, so you can download it to your smartphone and listen to it in the car while you're traveling. All right. I was out doing my walk this morning, and I was listening to the Chairman's Report podcast. All right. So there's all kinds of ways, and like Bob said, we have over 200 episodes, and sometimes we repeat the theme, but we're always updated, from like a year or so ago. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of information there, and and tell other people about this.
Absolutely. Yep. Share the videos as you can, and of course, we haven't mentioned this in quite a while either. There's a feedback function at whitehouse.gov.
Oh, yeah.
You can go there. You can leave a message for the president, for the vice president, for something like that. Again, this is totally free. Just go to the whitehouse.gov/contact. Yeah.
Yeah, whitehouse.gov/contact.
And you can tell the president, hey, get on the fair tax wagon, would you?
Yeah. He might be a little busy now with other stuff, but...
Yeah, he's kind of a little preoccupied. But again, the fair tax would have been the much simpler, much easier, much more effective way of dealing with this economic stimulus. We mentioned that a minute ago. Again, just to increase the prebate, decrease the rate, boom, problem solved. Oh, yes. Now, Miss Producer is giving us another thing we haven't talked about in quite a while.
That's right, PopFox, POPVOX. All right, that's a great website where you can, it's free. All right. They want you to register with your name and your address, because with your address, they know what congressional district you're in. And therefore, they know who your representative and who your 2 senators are. And you can then go to any piece of pending legislation, type in the number, and you can comment on it, and you can say whether you're for it or against it. And the comments that you write will actually go to your representative. And well, we don't have a bill in the Senate right now, but it'll go to your representative. All right.
But it's amazing. You go to PopFox, you see that H.R. 25, the FAIRtax Act in the House, has got 95% plus approval rating, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
There are just a very small handful of people that say, nah, I don't like that idea. I think I'd rather keep filling out income tax returns. And I like having the government taking withholding out of my paycheck before I get it.
And usually the people who have negative comments, it's like, it's regressive, it'll hurt the poor, which means they don't really understand the fair tax.
That's correct.
All right. It's not a 23%, it's a 30%.
Semantics.
Right. Yeah, so there's one. We mentioned this guy before, all right, Philip Waite. I saw your show on Facebook for the first time. This is early March, several weeks ago. I recently moved from Katy, Texas to Daphne, Alabama, and he wants to know who to get in contact with, because he wants to help with the fair tax. So I wrote back to him, and I gave him the contact information for Chuck Bailey, who is the state director, fair tax state director in Alabama. I hope they got a hold of each other. If you did, somebody write back to us and let us know. But that's one of the things we're here for.
Talking about, excuse me, a state level fair tax. If you missed Wally's Fair Tax World, our quarterly visit with Jade Wiley, we published that just not long ago. We talked with him about the state level fair tax. He was talking about the proposal. I don't think there's a proposal in Oklahoma, but there was a CPA friend that says this is wrong with the way Oklahoma does taxes, and he was offering some solutions. And Jade says, "Well, I got a better one."
Yep.
We went through that. So hopefully that will work.
The webinars are every 3 months, because Jade, is employed full time, so we can't get more of his time. But we're thankful for what we can get, and you can find it on YouTube, on the Florida Fair Tax Educational's YouTube page. All right, all the webinars are there. And we'll have another one in June, and we'll see what we come up with. So,
and again, we urge everyone to join AFFT, the national organization. There is not a set membership fee. You can just contribute whatever you'd like to. If there's a state level organization, get involved with that. Check out the 1040 Club. That's where you pledge $10.40 a month, which isn't a whole lot, to get rid of the Form 1040. And as I say, the entire fair tax movement at the state levels and to the national level, it's all grassroots organization.
Yep.
It was really nice when we had all these billionaires funding it, but that no longer is the case.
Yeah. Now we have to stand on our own. So, and it does take money for the national group to exist. It requires about $10,000 a month for everything they do. So it's not a cheap enterprise. So help them out when you can. Okay.
If you're living in a state that does not have a state-level organization, get in touch with us. We can give you resources where you can make that happen. And if we can get it like Alabama and Georgia are doing, and I think Nebraska as well, looking at a state-level fair tax bill, help that get through, and that'll certainly help the national bill as well.
We got write letters to the editor and call your local talk shows. Wait a minute. We're not going to stop at just local talk shows. Okay, call your national talk shows too.
Yeah, if you're willing to sit for an hour like Randy Fisher was, that's too. But I'll tell you what, that's we're about out of time here, Ron. We better wrap this. So again, thank everyone for listening and watching FAIRtax Power Radio. We certainly appreciate that. I'm Bob Paxton.
And I'm Ron Malero.
The FAIRtax Guys reminding you the fair tax is the only truly fair tax. And once you understand it,
you'll demand it.
So, how much will I bring home?
Go ahead.
How much do you make? We'll just say 40,000. Okay, keep it simple. Throw out the deductions, all that stuff. So you got your 40K, right? Now the first 8,000 is going to be taxed at 10%. The 8 to 33,000 is going to be taxed at 15%, and the 33 to 40, of course, is 25%. So that brings your total to $6,345.
Okay, so the average is what?
16%. Okay, and then on top of that, you got Medicare, which is 1.5%, and then of course your Social Security, which is 6.2%. So actually, your new total is $9,405.
Which is 23.
23.65%. You're getting it. You're getting it. Don't even get me started on what the boss has to pay. He's got to pay a portion of your taxes as well, so you don't have to.
Right. And you?
Oh, you bring home every penny.